Escape from New York. Back from New York. Live. It's Saturday night. Welcome back.
In Dublin.
Did you miss me, Hannah?
I was away myself.
That's not the... I didn't ask you, were you away? I asked you, did you miss me?
I could have missed you because I wasn't here. Could I miss you?
That makes no sense, Daniel. Daniel, please, can you explain what does that mean?
Well,
how can it doesn't matter about your geographical location.
I think it does a little bit, doesn't it? If you are taken away from the place you usually are, you usually go for adventure and you're in a different state of mind, different reality, and usually you don't miss anything.
Well, I didn't miss you either, so...
Okay.
Okay,
we
see
didn't
you.
miss each other.
Bye. See ya.
Because you had a time for that adventure.
So Sally can wait. She's walking on by while she's driving a car. Oh, Sally can wait. Don't look back in anger. Don't look back in anger. I heard you say. Well, so the Oasis finally did their first gig in Cardiff.
Did you hear about it?
I find the Gallagher brothers equally as entertaining when they're doing interviews. It's funny, I was talking to a woman who is a Pilates teacher, just had a random encounter sitting in town, and she was Jill. Hey Jill, I was looking. Jesus Christ, I was looking at the speakers. If it was the camera, I was waving at the speaker. Jill is a Pilates instructor, and she was saying that she is a Dylanologist, like that she's obsessed with Bob Dylan. She's seen him multiple times, and right. she's pored over his lyrics. I never really, well, apart from like Hurricane, this is the story of the hurricane. The man the authorities came to blame for something that he never done. But one time he could have been champion of the world. But it's interesting the way Dylan's voice. You see that picture is out of kilter.
I know, but that's on purpose.
What do you mean it's on purpose?
The position of that picture.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can be like this.
But this woman was saying, Jill was saying that she is really into his lyrics, and I'm not sure that his I don't know about his lyrics. I mean, yeah, I know they're supposed to be very poetic.
Didn't he get a Nobel Prize?
Yeah.
He's
can't hurry, don't
musician.
wait, love, here comes, there's a lot of, I don't know. What do you think of his lyrics? You've got a very good memory, sir.
Yeah, I mean, I like his album Highway 61 Revisited. I like that album.
And what do you think of the words that he sings? Does it make sense to you?
I think it does. Yeah, I mean, I like some of his songs, not all of them, but I like.
Do you know any of them? Can you tell us?
Well, like a Rolling Stone.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Do you know the lyrics?
There's certain little phrases that stick out in your head. One more cup of coffee for the road.
It's not very lyrical.
Yeah, I know, it's funny, isn't it? Like if you've just said, come here, do you want one more cup of coffee for the road? But because it's Dylan, one more cup of coffee for the road. But yeah, look, sorry, no way, shape. I love Bob Dylan. I actually, when I was in New York, I rented an e-bike and listened to best of Bob Dylan. So I was, just breezing around New York on an e-bike, and I blocked out the city noise. And it was very warm, but I was just drifting around, and it was delicious. And it really, New York suddenly, it tied the room together, if you know what I mean, Daniel. It just, the sound, because Dylan was writing songs in that location, and it just made it very, it was a very good experience. Yeah, that's how you need to get, well, for me anyway, get an e-bike. I tried to rent an e-bike from these guys who rented e-bikes to couriers. And he said, no, my friend, you have to get, I don't know where he was from, I don't know what this accent is. You have to have citizenship or something. And I said, how can I get citizenship? I'm only here for a week. I don't know. But so I rented, they have these city bikes, so I finally figured out how to get on an app. Also, there's a way to get data. There's an app you can get which gives your phone data, so you can get loads of... So you can just stay connected, man.
Stay connected with?
On the internet.
But with who?
Daniel, can you introduce the show, please?
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to And That's Why We're Not Together, starring David McSavage and Hannah Gnad. Oh, sorry. Oh, shit, I pressed the wrong button.
You have to introduce Daniel now.
Hannah and Daniel.
Yeah, sorry. I'm a bit rusty with the buttons.
Daniel, you are the future of rock and roll. So yeah, just back from New York, and I came up with a joke. Paul Chowdhury reckons it was his joke, but I came up with it, and he's stolen it. You know, this idea.
So you're both doing the same joke. New
York is a city that never sleeps. Well, you know, New York, you need a nap. You know what I mean? Because you know, it's sleep deprivation is a form of torture. Like if New York was a human being and it came into a doctor's office, hello, come on in. What's your name? New York. What's wrong with you? I never sleep. You know.
Mm-hmm. Sort of gentle, funny, like like early Seinfeld sort of joke.
Okay, yeah. Anyway, yeah. So. It was oppressively hot, so humid, you know, some parts of it. And I don't know, those big buildings, they act like radiators, man. But we were in the Lower East Side, and I was talking to a woman on my way back to London. I was in JFK Airport, and she said she grew up around the Lower East Side. So there used to be Little Italy. So I don't know how many blocks that would take up. And then there was Chinatown. And then there was the Jewish section. You know, but everybody who landed, you know, back in the day, everybody who came to New York came through the Lower East Side.
Okay.
And then, but the further up I think you go into New York, the posher it gets. You know, but apparently now Chinatown has kind of swallowed up most of that area. It's like, but Little Italy, there was one street called Mulberry Street, and there was a lovely restaurant called, what was it called? Vicoletto. No, it was called Burrata, Osteria Burrata. And it was really good, simple, clean, delicious Italian food. And I hadn't had that in a while. Couldn't complain about it. I had meatballs, spaghetti, delicious. Yeah, it was very good.
Did they use a lot of garlic?
Daniel, garlic is good.
I can't eat garlic.
Okay, well then just leave the country, please. I know, you're so annoying. You eat garlic and you get all like a fever or something. What happens when you eat garlic?
My body goes on fire, my inside intestine.
So what was nice, so I arranged to do this gig with John F. O'Donnell, who runs this gig in a place called the Cobra Club, which is on a street called Wyckoff Avenue. And that street, actually, Brooklyn, it reminds me of the 80s, like New York. It's kind of, it has the same vibe as that film, Do the Right Thing. You know, what's his name? The director? Spike Lee.
Spike Lee, yeah.
Spike Lee?
Yeah.
Is that his name?
I think so, yeah.
Is it, Daniel?
The Right Thing, there's a black and white movie, isn't it?
Spike Lee, isn't it? Yeah, Spike Lee.
Yeah, and it's a black and white movie, isn't it?
No, I think She's Got to Have It is the black and white film. Do the Right Thing is in colour.
Oh.
Spike Lee, isn't it? Spike Jones.
Spike Lee, yeah.
Spike Lee. I'm thinking of Bobby Lee. Actually, Bobby Lee and Andrew Santino are coming over here. They're playing in 3 Arena, and I'd really love them to do this podcast. And I'm just, do you know what I mean? I'm afraid to contact them because they'll say no. It's like you're afraid to contact a really good-looking woman that you're attracted to. So I'm still in the position where they might do the podcast, and then I'm trying to figure out an angle of attack. Like, you know, if I was in their position, because I don't like doing podcasts necessarily, and then so I'm just some random dude that's contacting them. I'm sure they get contacted all the time, but I'm trying to think like, how can I attract their attention? You know, because I know Bobby Lee, for instance, is obsessed with selvage jeans. And so maybe I said, "Hey, Bobby, I'll buy you a pair of Momotaros."
No, it's just.
I'll buy you a pair of samurai jeans.
Maybe.
Maybe I should contact his ex-girlfriend and find out what his measurements are. What?
No, but you know, like if you give him some information, that it's only between you and him because you know so much about this and you impress him by your knowledge.
Yeah, but wouldn't
jeans.
that be a turn off, Daniel? You know what I mean? It's like an obsessive fan. It's kind of, you know, because
No,
I only
because
want
you
to be,
don't-
I want to be part. I only want to belong to a club that doesn't want me as a member. You know, so if somebody's coming at me and say, "Hey, I'm a da 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 da," I'm just like, "Oh, fuck off," you know. What? I don't know. I'm all confused. I don't know what to do, Daniel.
No, but like, yeah.
But anyway, he has people coming on his podcast all the time, so he understands that we need guests. So why can't he be a guest on mine?
Yeah, exactly. And maybe no one in Ireland is brave enough to invite him, so you will have no competition. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and he's probably for a short time,
Yeah.
like 2 days or something. He plays just one day, doesn't he?
Yeah, plays one night. What one night?
One night.
I was trying to, I was trying to get his attention. Hey, I'll fuck you. Maybe he would see that coming up on his Instagram and he'd open up.
No,
Sorry, I was
mean,
just
like, hey,
pretending.
fuck you. I mean,
Yeah, because he's maybe, you know, sorry, I was pretending to be a woman. Oh, Christ, forget that.
no, that would work with you.
That would work with, yeah.
But I don't
Work
think...
with any guy.
Yeah. I just saw this Instagram post that there was a child, like a really small child in the corner. A woman was trying to get the attention of get the child to crawl, and the child wouldn't move. Then she showed him the boobs, and it just starts.
Yeah, because that's...
And it works for every
All the
boy,
rest of
all
your
the
life.
ages,
Yeah.
the rest of your life.
So beautiful. Breasts are the best thing. Congratulations. But anyway, so I had tried to set up this gig in a place called the Cobra Club in Bushwick. It's in an area of Brooklyn, so it's kind of it still isn't all gentrified and formalized, or maybe it's starting to become that way, but it's still just kind of grubby, very shabby chic, I hate that phrase, clubs. And I'd say if you were a young person there, it'd just be the perfect hangout. Loads of these little clubs and loads of little food trucks and all that. So Cobra Club. And the last time I was there, I played in the Cobra Club and I attracted a big crowd. Well, 80 people showed up, right?
How come?
And this is, okay, well, I'll just talk about it. So that was just before COVID. And I had a lot less followers, right? Mm-hmm. And but this time, 8 people showed up. And it was on July 4th as well, which is Independence Day. But, I'll tell you something. Even if 4 people showed up, there's something kind of beautiful about seeing just Irish heads appear. The little diaspora that we have. And, how you doing, Brian from Wicklow? And, Kevin from fucking Bray and all that kind of stuff. And there's a couple of people from Galway. But these 2 guys who lived in Manhattan, they came up to me and they were saying they were big fans of the podcast. I mean, it's quite brilliant,
From
isn't
Manhattan?
it? Yeah. But isn't it? They were Irish.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just, and they couldn't have been just more nice. It is beautiful. That's the great thing about social media and the internet, that it can have a very positive effect. I guess it's nice that people. It's nice for us to think, isn't it, Hannah, that people are in New York or Vancouver or Australia listening to us, watching us.
And there's no barriers that they can hear instantly. Like if you put it on social media or internet, it goes everywhere.
Yeah, we give ourselves the green light. We've given ourselves the green light. It is quite revolutionary. Why are you moving your hand around?
I don't know. I'm just playing with the cable. I'm just have to leave it alone.
So that was nice, and there was like about 8 people there, and this one guy called Z from Brooklyn. And that was I'll put the picture up as I'm talking here.
Yeah.
I was with Abby Lee earlier that day, or the day before. Now Abby Lee Kershaw is fairly well established actress from Australia. She was a Vogue model, front page and all that, very attractive, blah blah blah. Going out with this nice guy called Milo. Actually, I was hanging out with Abby in London the day she met Milo. I think I encouraged her to go up and talk to the fucking guy. Anyway, so I was talking to her, having a chat, and we were hanging out, and she said they've got 2 dogs. These people who have 2 dogs, but they live in New York and live in London, and they're all freaked out and they don't know how to bring the dogs over, and it's all maps and charts and fucking rules and regulations. I thought bringing a dog over wasn't that much hassle anymore.
No, I think you just have a passport and put him, a special basket.
But anyway, so she
basket.
was saying that she's got a famous friend and she might bring her to the gig. And I said, well, who's your famous friend? And she says, Zoe Kravitz, right?
Oh.
Zoe Kravitz, right? And I'm thinking, Zoe Kravitz? She kind of, I was so glad they didn't show up.
Why?
Because the idea of doing that gig and having Abby and Zoe Kravitz, you know, I'm not that, I don't know Zoe Kravitz from Adam, but just having somebody, you know, who's kind of at that level, just sitting there, their head in the audience, and you're performing in front of 8 people. But anyway, I felt no pressure. It was really nice. It was kind of, you know, when you perform to that small an audience, it becomes, well, it's still a show, but it's kind of like,
a sitting
you know,
room.
you know, you kind of want to talk to people, but they were a bit sort of reticent. They were a bit slightly withdrawn, but it was nice anyway. Oh yeah, and I made like it's funny. So Paul Chowdhury. So I went over to New York with Paul Chowdhury and Mark Rothman. Mark Rothman is the owner of the Top Secret Comedy Club in London, and it runs 3 venues, right? So he's very successful. And Paul Chowdhury is a very well-established act in the UK, but he's not known in the United States, right? So it's funny, like, but he didn't based on the heat or the status he has in the UK. He got into this prestigious club in the United States called the Comedy Cellar. Mm-hmm. Now this club has been going since the 1980s. So all the greats have performed there. And still on a given night, Chris Rock could wander in, or Adam Sandler, Bill Burr, Louis C.K. So Paul I think he did like 14 nights there, you know, and they give you 10 minutes or something, 10-minute spots. But the crack is, like, if somebody famous breezes in, whoever is on the lineup that night gets bumped off. So I think when I was there, I went to see Paul. I only went there one night, and I went to see Paul, and this kid called Marcelo Hernandez arrived in and bumped Paul off the lineup. And then I checked out Marcelo Hernandez, and he's on Saturday Night Live. And he's 28.
He's big.
He's big, got 2 million followers. But when he was on stage, he talks like this, you know, and he's talking. Well, no, he's got an American accent, but there's a slight, you know, Spanish sound to his voice. But very talented kid. But 28, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean?
Amazing. 28.
Yeah. Fuck's sake. What?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
you know, like I'm 59. I'm 58. And you know, I'm 30 years older than him, and he's so successful. So there's a part of me that really wishes him well.
Mm-hmm. But there's a lot of like really, really young singers, also very, very successful. Daniel, which is one of the youngest one, which is really successful? Is Olivia? What's her name? Olivia
Rodrigo? Or?
Yeah. She's a mega star. She's like what, 19, 20?
Yeah. Well, I watched a set, and it was very
slick.
Yes, slick, and it was very well written, I have to say. Smart kid, self-aware.
But he obviously has a different style to you. You don't write your material.
Well, no, he was talking about his childhood and his parents and his mother and how he was. I think he made the point, like, it was such a struggle for his mom and dad to get to the point where they could actually have a green card and work and, you know, provide for their kid, and then he I think he was saying he looked at homeless white people. And he was looking at them going, Jesus Christ, you've got everything. I mean, you've got a green, you know, you've got citizenship. It's all there for you. You know, what do you do? I can't remember. I'm fucking that up. Anyway, I don't even want to talk about it. It's not the point. The point is that Paul Chowdhury, it was just funny to see him, that he's at such a high level in the UK, and then seeing anyway, and also
was he a bit sour about it?
No, he knew the crack. He knew what he had to do. Kept his head down. There's a way to go about things when you're just in a new.
Humble.
You have to be humble. You have to know how to. You have to be emotionally intelligent, and but it's that place, that Comedy Cellar. Like if you're a well-known established act, it's a lovely place, and you're protected from all the bullshit, and all the. Like it's run in such a way. There's 4 venues, I think, ranging from 80-seater to like 300-seater, and it's just running. It's just show after show after show, queues of people around the fucking block, and it's like Saturday night every night there. It's intense, man. But you wouldn't be going in there it wouldn't be going in. How are you? I'm just over from Ireland. Do you think I'd have a gig? Yeah, fuck off, man. And the people working there, they just looked like it looked like a military academy. They would just look walking around. You know what I mean? And then the comedians outside, there's a fucking fly now.
Yeah, I mean, you have to let it go, and the fly would be, unless you want to catch it.
Catch it, yeah. But it's run like a military academy, and it's funny, when I was outside, there was other comedians. I recognized a few of them, but they're talking to you, and they're just like, they're just seeing who else is. It's very status anxiety, that kind of place. But apparently the comedians don't get paid that much. It's like $50 or $100 per gig, which I was quite surprised about.
Oh, right. Or maybe that's like an avenue to bigger gigs. It's just
it's an avenue to
try out.
Yeah, well, which sounds like a marketing strategy to me. You know what I mean? Like, but I guess if they call it being passed. Oh, I think you heard me. I was talking about it actually with Paul Chowdhury. I was talking about all this with Paul Chowdhury, so I don't need to talk about it all again. I did a podcast with Paul Chowdhury last week.
You need to repeat it so people understand it better.
I'm looking at that fly now.
Yeah, I can see it.
Do you want a machine gun? Could you imagine to have a machine gun to kill a fly?
Well, there are little guns with rock salt in them, aren't there, Daniel?
Yeah, I think there's little guns for killing flies.
Yeah, maybe we should order one on the
or just go the
intranet.
electric fly swatter.
Oh yeah, like a tennis racket.
But my grandfather used to have a leather one, and he used to sleep with the one, and whenever the fly came in, you just go.
And you get it.
You get it. Every time.
Yeah.
Almost every time.
No flies on the gnats.
Not on him. Maybe around.
Hannah Andrews.
My grandfather was called Wichling.
What does your passport say? Hannah what?
But you just get off. Like, go on, let's go back to New York, which is much more interesting. So where is Comedy Cellar? What part?
It's near... It's 20 minutes. I'd say it's closer to Midtown. It's near Greenwich Village, is it?
I don't know.
But around there though. It's just. I don't know what it's an exciting place to be if you're young, I guess.
Well, I think Manhattan is an exciting place.
And if you want people to like you, in these places, you have to give them big tips. If you don't tip people in the United States, forget about it. And I went to this nice restaurant called Jack's Wife, Frida, and it was a good place for
breakfast.
For breakfast, yeah.
And what do they
I
make?
got confused about the tipping culture.
Go on.
When I went over there, because I didn't get it at first. So like people were getting offended because I wasn't tipped.
Apparently waiters are chasing clients if they don't tip them.
If you don't tip them, they go, was everything okay with the service?
Yeah, they feel offended. Like
So I just go along with it. I when you're there for a week, I can't handle it. So I give them over the top. Oh, thank you so much. Hey, like in other words,
where are you from?
Yeah. But when people, I like it though. They make
me too.
Yeah, but I make like you go here and it's just like John Coffee. Whereas there's
try to go to Poland.
Okay, Poland, but there's and that mood that you're being presented with, that's an act. And it's you're being paid. you're paying for that, and I'm glad to pay for it. Happy. I've said this before. I like it. I like the exchange. The what would you call it? The
barter. You know, like you exchanging the.
I like the.
I
I like the relationship of you being up and in a good mood and happy to see me, and I'm willing to. I appreciate that, and I'm paying for that. Thank you very much. I'm
part of the job.
Yeah, I'm well up for that. Maybe they should have a restaurant in Dublin called The Tip. The Tip. Have you ever heard guys trying to convince a girl to ride them and say, "Can I just put the tip in? Can I do? Okay, no, you can't. Can I just lean up against it? Okay, for Christ's sake."
But that's American culture, because everybody has to tip, and they know that they have to tip. Like in Ireland, not many people are tipping. A little bit, maybe.
Yeah.
And then I like it in London as well. You know, you go to any restaurant and a tip is included. You know.
Oh, I loved it. I mean, the doorman. You know, God, he was so on top of it. And you know, I had $50, and I just shook his hand, and thank you. You know, I was so happy.
Did you give $50 to the doorman?
Yeah.
Oh, listen, David, show the T-shirt you bought and the shop you went to.
Oh, Jesus, yeah.
It's not even a T-shirt; it's like a vest. Very.
Well, first of all, I'll explain the store. So this was in around Soho, and there's a shop called Aim Leon Door. M-A-M. I think J'aime means like, Leon, I love. Like, you know, whatever. So there's this store, right? And it's such an old racket. And, you know, it's all this kind of fancy store. And then there's these two doormen. And you walk in, you know, because I'm into my clothing. And they say, "Oh, no, sir, you have to put your name on a fucking list. And then they'll email you. So you should get a permission to come into the store in about 20 minutes. But I'm thinking, huh? And what is this place so, you know, full or something? But it's totally just a bit of a racket, so that they create this want. And so when you walk into the store, exclusivity. You know, I can't believe I've got into this shithole. And the clothing is just kind of, I don't know what the fuck it is. But then I just felt compelled to buy something.
Oh yeah, and this is like from this sort of gay band. What's it called?
Right Said Fred.
Right, yeah, exactly. I think, Daniel, do you want to model it?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, $120 reduced from
116. It's a bargain. And you know that.
And I just said, okay, I'll buy. Just let me buy this thing. But anyway, I actually wore that working out today. I'm gonna wear it anyway, even though it looks gay. You know.
It just means that you marry. Happy.
Mm-hmm. I'm yawning now because it's hot in here. There's not enough air. Oh no.
Oh, you just. Okay.
Did you meet any characters in New York? Because
anyone famous?
Or because I met like this guy that like he was talking to me in a bar, and he wouldn't stop talking to me about the Grand Hermit, about this guy that like hid out in the forest for years and was living in the forest, and he just kept talking to me about it, like, you know, following me around and talking to me about it.
About the forest.
About this Grand Hermit that like lived out in the forest all his life and was able to just live in the forest and take food from campers. And
I'm trying to think, did I meet any characters?
I was in New York in 2005 or 2006. It was quite a long time ago. But I remember being in New York, and I was like really surprised that everybody is smiling at you.
Yeah, there was a guy I was hanging out with when I was in New York, and we went to like a food truck, and he ordered falafel, but the guy didn't give him, like, he took a bite out of it and it wasn't falafel, it was meat. And he was like, "Hey, this is meat, not falafel," you know. And then like the guy was like, "Sorry, I gave you the wrong. You know, there's nothing I can do." And then he just cleared out his whole food truck. This guy, like, he swiped everything off the table and just
from anger.
yeah, just from anger, just wrecked the whole food truck, and then we just had to walk on like as if nothing happened. Like, you know.
Why were you hanging out with him?
I don't know, because I was just looking for people just to show me around, I guess.
Jesus Christ, Daniel. It's just as well. I mean, isn't it? But I think when you're young, you're sort of protected by your youth and innocence.
Yeah, you're sort of open and you just absorb everything.
And then that guy could see that Daniel was a nice guy and wasn't. There was no resistance to your man's madness. So he just kind of liked Daniel's vibe. But God, it could turn dark just as quick. You know, Daniel could have said something. What? What do you mean by that? What do you mean, yes? I was just saying yes. Fuck you, man. You're the devil. God.
Did you go to the Bronx?
No, I didn't. Did you?
I did, yeah.
Yeah.
It's apparently quite dangerous.
Yeah, I didn't stay long.
It's like, put my foot, like,
I went to the subway pretty quickly. Like.
Did you go on your own?
Yeah, because I was on my own most of the time.
Were you looking for grass?
No, I was just on my own, just exploring the city. Like.
Jesus, fair fucks to you, son.
Yeah.
And what? Were you in the Bronx? You walked around. Go on, what are you laughing?
Well, there was just, it was just
quite intimidating.
What, a couple of dudes were going, hey, yo, what's up?
Yeah.
What?
Hey, why, dude?
Yeah, like
why
I
didn't
Or did you walk?
I just fell out of place. Like.
Did you walk into a black area?
Yeah.
Oh fucking hell, Daniel. Well, so there's just black people everywhere.
Yeah.
and then what? Did you hear some guys going?
No,
what?
I just felt like, I don't think I should stay here too long. Like.
Well, I mean, I was there in the late 80s and there was all kinds of race riots. So, like black guys walking into Italian neighborhoods and getting beaten up. And I think there was one kid who was killed or something. There's all these kind of riots, lots of tension. I mean, it's not as bad,
Mm.
Do you remember Gran Torino?
Mm-hmm.
And Clint Eastwood.
I just find I know the race thing is a big issue, and I know, like, the thing is, with the radical race theorists, they reckon, if you're a white person and you're, talking to black people, it's not is the racism, it's where is there. There's always something racist going on, So it's very, but I just find it kind of scary and tiresome, this kind of obsession with race and all that. And it'd be great if we could let it go at some point. But it'd be funny. I was trying to come up with a joke around radical race theory. So let's say if I married a black girl and had a baby, then would I be racist towards my own baby?
Yeah.
How?
I don't know, but it's not the same color as you are.
Yeah, but it's my child.
I know. Just
okay. How long have we been broadcasting? I'm just yawning so much. I just feel like
33 minutes.
That's enough.
It's so much.
Because
not
like
enough oxygen.
That's an excuse, Dave.
No. It always. Sometimes it's not like that, and then sometimes it is. Or maybe I need just water.
Yeah.
Do you have some water?
I'm very dehydrated. I had a bottle of water somewhere. I'm gonna just drink it. Are you gonna drink it?
Yeah, of course I'm gonna drink it. Can I? Yes, Hannah. Of course I'm gonna drink it. I have to sit down and then. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not a magician. Oh boy.
What was the comment from last podcast? And it's actually quite true that if you're in this surrounding, you turn into this moany, picky ex-husband, sort of like
What?
you're losing your comedic sharpness. Maybe not sharpness.
Oh God! Well, just read the comment, Hannah.
I'm just gonna
Stop paraphrasing.
Yeah. It's too funny.
Okay.
Oh, they say two amazingly talented.
Come on,
people.
Hannah, just get into it. My nose is itchy.
Okay.
Okay, now first of all, Hannah, just give it a little bit of context.
Okay,
You just tell, yeah, but wait. Just
you see, you being that picky person.
I know, but it's just, but I hate to be. You put me in the position where, you know.
I
just
put you in a position.
Tell us which
you
part.
choose to be in a position. That is the comment to the last podcast which you had in New York with Paul Chowdhury. You talk extensively at the beginning of this podcast. So, and there are comments, and they're saying that.
Oh Christ! Just get to the point, will you?
Oh, first you have to introduce.
Just get to the. Yeah, I know, but it's just
to the
come
point.
on. Just get to the.
That's somebody said.
Oh,
that was very nice. So it was, especially nice to see David calling Paul and not Paul Chowdhury every time. Also noticed to see David being David for a change and not Daddy Max, whereby he's an angry, shouty dad to the children and the ex.
Yeah, okay, that's interesting. Yeah.
Is he?
Well, maybe, yeah. Well, then just talk to me, Terry Tibbs.
Thank you. Good night. Much love.
Okay. Hello, David and Paul. David, you are paranoid about sound.
Okay,
Calm the
Yeah,
fuck
you did
down.
talk a lot about it.
It's working grand. Somebody, there must be Irish.
Yeah, you and Paul are like best buddies, aren't you?
Literally two brothers. Well, what's this? Nothing says I'm hot like a maggot making cup. Could you translate it to
Nothing
me?
says what?
Nothing says I'm hot like
Show
a
me.
maggot making
Show.
cup.
Nothing says I'm hot like a maggot making. I don't know. Somebody, you know, people who think they're funny, and they throw out these little comments, and they're just not funny at all. Like I've been on some WhatsApp groups, I can tell you, and people start doing puns on them, and it literally makes me want to shoot myself in the fucking face. They're so annoying, so fucking annoying. And of course, these people have never been in front of an audience. They don't know how much hatred is directed towards you, how inappropriate almost amounts of hatred is directed towards you when you get comedy wrong. And they'd be just a lot more judicious and careful about the comments that they throw around. Oh boy, some people just are. Shut up. Anyway.
Well, the internet, social media is the worst place for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what were we talking about? Oh yes.
And we started. So, did you hear anything about Oasis' first gig? Was it good? People were over the moon. Did they perform well? There was any riots, any arguments on stage, or?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Did you watch it, Daniel?
No.
Did you watch any clips? Oh, you?
No, I didn't even know it was on.
Oh yeah, that's good. That's right. Yeah.
He doesn't give a shit.
Yeah.
I sort of would like to go, but like.
I don't know if I'd like to go. I mean, I know the songs. Do I want to see them live? I'm not that curious.
I don't know. Oh yeah, you know all the words.
No.
I never. I think I have to just have like a karaoke machine and see all the words.
I'd like to see the Beatles.
The Beatles. You remember you went with Daniel or Jack to see Paul McCartney?
No, I went with Kieran Walsh.
I think you've taken Daniel or Jack.
I think you took Jack.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
Was Jack with Kieran?
Yeah, I think with you.
Why didn't
and
Daniel
Kieran.
go?
Because I don't wanna say you prefer a younger child. No, I'm joking.
Yeah, it's not funny then.
I know. I'm sorry, Daniel.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to definitely cut that fucking out. Oh God, you're so annoying. I'm going to
What
cut.
do you mean
I'm going to
so
cut all
annoying?
the because
I don't
I
know
can't
why.
stand. Because I wouldn't have just brought Jack.
Because maybe you had one ticket.
No, that's stupid.
No, I think you got ticket, or you got it from. No, Daniel, you remember what happened?
I just remember. I can't remember the reason. I don't know.
It doesn't sound right at all. I apologize, Daniel. You know.
It's okay.
No, it's not okay. I'm sorry. I apologize.
It's years of therapy. I'm sorry.
You have to find the right therapist, though.
That's true.
That's very difficult.
It is very difficult to find the right therapist. I remember when I was trying to find a therapist. Yeah, I couldn't. Oh yeah, I did. What was his name? What's his name? That guy from Sligo. What was his name? Jesus
I know. I don't know, but there was one of the episodes like way back. We were talking about this, and you couldn't remember his name. I was just reading about Glastonbury.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, it sort of popped up on my feed, and then I was just wondering how big is the area. So apparently the Glastonbury is so vast, it's like a size of 500 football pitches.
Yeah.
It's enormous.
Yeah.
So I wasn't aware that it's so big. And this year
Vincent Byrne.
Vincent Byrne.
Sorry. No.
You're supposed to stop thinking, then it pops back into your head.
But sorry, no, I do want to talk about Glastonbury for a second. But Daniel was saying it's hard to get a good therapist. And it is true. It's like finding that if you're in a situation where you would benefit from talking to somebody about whatever you're going through, getting the right therapist. Like I remember I just sat down with one guy and he was like this, and he looked at me and I thought, nope, can't be dealing with him and his fucking eyes. And then there was another guy, he was all kind of, I don't know, he's just too cool for school, or I don't know where. He was kind of trying to get you to.
Well, listen, some of them so arrogant.
Yeah, right.
Just make me.
There was one guy who said, "Have you ever killed anyone?"
In my dream.
Yeah, you know what I mean. All this, but he was trying to make you come to realizations with that. Like I think, if you do have knowledge and if you're smart and you got your head around, you understand stuff. I think it's kind of no good to anyone if you can't sort of impart it. Like for instance, I was listening to a podcast about the Civil War in Ireland and Bloody Sunday in Croke Park and all this kind of stuff. But it was presented in such a way that it was digestible and it was understandable and it was engaging. You know what I mean? And but a rich, let's say, story. But when I was in school, it certainly wasn't presented in that way. It just wasn't. They weren't good. A lot of teachers were not good.
I wish I had a good history teacher.
So in other words, you have this gift, this gold, and somehow they just kind of cover it in boredom and hand it just kind of, rather or something, just flung it over to you. Really, really, really terrible.
Yeah, but okay.
So my teachers in Blackrock College, massive disappointment to them, and they had so much potential, but they just did not apply themselves. That's what they always said to me, right? But they didn't apply themselves either. So the two of us were sitting there in the classroom, not applying ourselves, and not creative either.
No.
Yeah,
I think that's true. History can be so interesting.
Yes,
and
because history
that should be stories.
Yes, stories, yeah. Like the way they were talking about it, it just made it interesting. And it kind of, I almost felt embarrassed, like, God, jeez, I didn't know all this stuff,
Yeah, because it's really, I think it is, I regret it now that I didn't learn more about history, my own history, the world history. And now I have to look it up and re-educate myself, because history is a great inspiration to your life.
Yeah. Anyway, I can't remember the details, but basically, this massacre in Croke Park was a reprisal to these. Assassinations ordered by, was it the IRB or the IRA, a few days beforehand. Anyway, I can't remember the details. I'm a bit sketchy on the details, but the way it was presented, I just thought it was very interesting. What else, Daniel?
And also your grandmother, she was active participant.
Yeah, she was in Common Naman, which is the female branch of the IRA, and my
And she
grandfather
spent
was also. I think he was sent out.
I think she spent time in Kilmainham jail.
God, I don't even. Do you know? Are you familiar? Yeah, Jack is the historian of the family. I'm embarrassed.
And your sister Sinead, who did the pedigree of all the women on your dad's side, I think. Okay, and so I was saying about Glastonbury, how big it is.
Oh yeah,
And
there's a
how
guy
many-
there's a guy in. What's that guy in Glastonbury? He's a sort of radio personality. He talks like that. What's his name? Do you know the guy I'm talking about? He's so smarmy, and I really like to punch his face in. He's so cool. Oh, Glastonbury, yeah. No, I just saw Queen Sheba and the Funkadelics. I was wearing Wellingtons.
But is he just like a reporter?
Oh, he's just so annoying.
Like, why don't you listen to him? You can listen to tons of commentators.
Oh yeah, okay. There's Fanny Mac or Annie Mac or something. Hey Annie Mac, right? Yeah, it's going to be amazing. Fuck off. It's not that amazing, like standing in a field or in a fucking
But
tent.
I actually have one goal now because I want to go to Glastonbury Festival.
Yeah.
Maybe I need.
But you see, you're great. You see, that's why women live longer, because they're into going to Glastonbury and they want to, funk around the place and dance in a tent. And I don't, maybe I should go and I'd love to be able to tune into your brain and feel.
I mean, how exciting! How many, different bands you have?
I wonder,
Like
I wonder,
200,
is there a way to just think like a woman? Because women seem to be so into doing stuff. I mean, it is fucking true. And that's why Joanne McNally, she does so many tickets because women like to plan and do stuff, and she's got a huge fan base of women.
Remember that film, What Women Want?
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty funny.
You see, I have to, you see the way I don't want to go to Glastonbury because I just want to sit at home like this. And then, but that's why
But you love music.
Yeah, but that's why you're a
don't
good travel companion. So I just try and that's what they say in Alcoholics Anonymous, and it's almost like a martial art, the ability to hand over your thoughts. Because if I think with my brain, no, think with Hannah's brain, let's do this, let's go here, and then you go there with Hannah, and then maybe 15 minutes in, okay, it's not so bad, but the idea of traipsing around and seeing fucking white guys with dreadlocks banging djembas, and
David, there's so many amazing acts you can actually see, and there's so many at the same time that you just go to one stage you don't like, you wander to another one, you might stumble to an act you've never seen before and could be
I'd like to see Gary Newman driving my cars in cars. You remember that?
Yeah. In
Do you know who I'd like to see? I'd love to see, I have to say, Future Island.
Oh, yeah.
Your man is fucking great.
Future Island.
You gain a piece, but you lose one too. People change. He's fucking
Weren't
great.
Kneecap like the big headliners at this Glastonbury?
Yeah, Kneecap, yeah. Well, actually, Jesus, I was watching a documentary, How to Survive in Gaza today. Fucking hell. You can be equally horrified by what Hamas did in Israel, and you can be equally horrified by what Israel is doing in Gaza. And this film was narrated by a 13-year-old boy who speaks perfect English because he went to the top English-speaking British school, apparently, in Gaza. And he just reminded me of when Daniel was a little kid, and he's just so innocent and so well behaved, and he was walking through his neighborhood, which was bombed to shit. This used to be here, and it used to be so colorful. And he's speaking with this gorgeous little voice, and it was so sad, you know what I mean? And you're watching, and I was thinking of Daniel being there and him trying to process what's happening. But and And then there was this other kid whose parents had died, and he'd sort of attached himself to a paramedic who was working in a hospital, and he was doing his best to try and fit in and be useful. And but the watching children suffering, it's just the worst. And you would just it's kind of like living with psychosis. Like the world is mad, the world is mad. And you'd love to just go to the people involved who have the power to stop this conflict, war, horror, and just say, come on, what do we want, how can we achieve it, but even that idea of where Israel say, well, Hamas hide behind children. Yeah, but that doesn't mean
that you need to kill them.
Kill them.
There has to be a different way.
It's just I see there's no difference
working.
between children in Palestine, children in Israel. It's just awful. I don't know.
Yeah,
you're just watching it, and I was saying to you actually in the kitchen, Hannah, the way patriarchies are terrible and matriarchies are, we should have them, but it would be great if I'd love it. It'd be a funny little short book or short story idea, just if children rule the world. I know it might descend into Lord of the Flies, obviously, but I'm just saying, seeing that little 13-year-old and these kids, and what do kids actually want? They want mom. They want mom to, be happy. Want dad to be happy. They want to have a nice place to. They like a little bit of structure, don't they?
Yeah.
They like to know that they're going to be here this time. Going to have
safety, feeling
safe and all that kind of stuff. And can't we provide that for the kids? So it's, if you had instead of a patriarchy, if you had a childrenarchy.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Because the one thing we all should do is protect children.
Yeah.
No matter where, when.
That's what it felt like in the north of Ireland. There was a point where, just this, look, on both sides, do you want your kids growing up? Yeah, I think you're a cunt and I never want to fucking blah, blah, blah. But you've got kids, I've got kids. Can we just somehow disagree, but just in peace or something? So I wish somehow... peace broke out. I don't know how it's going to happen, but it does look like Israelis are traumatized, and they want to. I think they just are trying to get rid of every Palestinian. They just want to.
You call it genocide.
Yeah, that's a difficult. I'm not qualified to, but when you see what's happening, it's hard not to think it is that. Ooh.
Yeah, it's terrible, and I just think that we all, the nations all over the world, are hypnotized, and nothing
hypnotized
in a sense that we just see it, but we're not doing anything.
Yeah,
we're just seeing it and accepting whatever is happening, and those people in power, they just pull the strings, and we just observing and. Nothing is changing. Even though we might think, this is the right thing, this is the bad thing, but we're not doing anything truly.
I'm thinking of Tim Dillon, Daniel.
Oh yeah.
And how Tim Dillon, how Tim Dillon would talk about all this conflict and war, and he talks about it in such a way that he's quite brilliant, actually, isn't he? Do you ever listen to Tim Dillon?
Yeah, I think I have. Yeah.
The whole world, it's going to end. It's over. It's finished. We're just going to eventually eat each other. That's it. Nuclear. I sounded like Gabriel, but he just kind of exaggerates things and says the exact opposite to what he really means, and just makes up stories. He's such a breath of fresh air, man. But we're actually talking about it seriously. I don't know what kind of podcast we are. It's funny. I just think to myself, I think if we just remain true to ourselves, and we slowly just evolve and figure it out, and the penny will drop at some point, and we'll get a really good format.
I think it's always good to have a guest.
Is it?
Yes, because the guest brings something new, some some viewpoints,
yes.
some information,
Yes.
something so you can bounce off and you can bring to whatever you already
Well,
have.
Tim Dillon never has a guest, although he just does it on his own. But
Yeah,
what I like
he's
about him,
so opinionated.
I like about him,
and
it's so free.
yeah.
It's so free. The things he says are so outrageous. But to me, it's like drinking fresh water after being in a desert.
Yeah, but
People are so fearful of offending people. We really have to let that one go.
Yeah.
You have to
but
let that
also,
one go.
I think you have to forgive people as well.
Yes.
Like, you know, people might think that have that opinion like
Yes.
that for a short time. Then
Yeah.
things change.
Yes.
They might change the opinion. So they're not set with that opinion. You know, it's, you know, you might not like that part about
Yes.
this person, but we all evolving, we all changing. The world is changing so rapidly.
Yeah, so yeah, somebody has an opinion that you really disagree with, or you don't like their politics or whatever. But you know, you can be friendly to them as well. You can
but also you have to allow
de-escalate.
them to evolve and change, and you know.
But you know, people do want to. You know, a lot of kind of weak, sort of not that, I don't know, weak people, when they think their right is on their side, they really kind of go for it, and they're not worried about what you were saying being effective, or they just want to be right.
But I have a question. So what do you think about the bands? I think, you know, when the band is already political, let's say,
The band.
like music bands, groups, they go and perform, but before they perform, a lot of time they do the big speeches, political speeches, you know. What do you think about this?
Well, it's par for the course. I mean, a lot of bands, or like U2 used to do a bit of that stuff. Are you talking about Kneecap?
Well, about Kneecap, I think they already, you know, their songs are very political.
Yeah.
But what I think is a lot of counterproductive, that if you just using your status to, you know, have long political speeches, which antagonize people a lot.
Well, I think I remember when I was young and I was living in Tokyo, and I got into painting, right? And this guy punched me, right, for some reason, just out of the blue.
Just because you were painting?
No, sorry, it had nothing to do. I was painting at the time. This is a parallel to this. I was painting.
Good storyteller.
I was in Tokyo. I was painting, and then an incident happened where a guy punched me, right? Mm-hmm. And I just felt that I felt I didn't stand up for myself. I felt like I was a coward, and then I felt like I couldn't paint because I just like, well, if I was going to paint something, it's just like, this is the product of somebody who's a coward and it's worth nothing.
That's a good insight.
So I just I summoned up my energy and I confronted him and I punched him, I attacked him or whatever, got into a fight,
and then you became Picasso.
You know what I mean? It's unbelievable, Daniel. You know, it's like it's
it's
just living with a heckler. It's really great. So I think with Kneecap, they feel so aggrieved with the world that they're living in, and they can't watch this stuff. It doesn't mean that they're supporting men going into a fucking a music festival and killing innocent people.
No, of course not.
But I'm
What
saying,
I'm but you know what to expect from Kneecap.
Huh?
Because their songs are political.
My only problem with Kneecap is you can't see their faces. I always have a problem. I'm on the spectrum around that stuff. I don't know who I'm talking to. It was the same with those guys from Limerick. What were their names? Oh, they wore bags over their heads. Daniel?
Yeah, Blind Boy.
Blind Boy. You know, it's just, I can't talk to somebody with a bag over your head. I mean, I just have to see who I'm talking to. Yeah, or maybe I can't. I just find it problematic.
You can just listen to them. You don't need to look at them.
Yeah.
You know, you can
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just me, by the way. And
yeah,
I love you.
Yeah.
I love you. We can live, coexist. I just find a bit difficult. But I think they're, you know, I always think, are they risking anything by doing their protests? And I think they are. And that means that they obviously care and are passionate. And, but yeah, look, I mean, after seeing that documentary, I mean, I understand where they're coming from, but yeah, they're not like professional politicians, you know, they're not in suits sitting at panels and having these very well informed. they're going, fuck you, fuck the ADF, and fuck whatever they're saying. What are they saying?
Well, I don't think they were saying. There was the other performer. What's his name? Bob. What was his name?
Doesn't matter, but yeah, there was a performer who was saying kill the IDF or something.
Yeah, just kill or death to IDF something, and maybe that's a little bit taken too far.
The only thing is, yes, the difficulty that music groups get into when they start.
Bob Dylan, that was his name.
The difficulty that music groups get into when they step into the political arena is that they will get criticized, and they're not. They might not be used to that, and they might not be equipped to deal with that. Like professional politicians, that's their bread and butter. They know the crack. They're used to. That's absolutely horrendous. You're a terrible man, Nigel Farage. You're and then, but Nigel Farage, it's water off ducks. He's Teflon. Well, you know, yeah, he's Teflon. You know, I totally accept your condemnation of me, and let me turn your condemnation and turn it into a sort of a reasonable response. And it's all like that. And he's not bothered. His feathers aren't he's not flustered or anything. His feathers aren't ruffled. But then, you know, like Sinead O'Connor. She was making a really good point at the time.
And she was right.
She was right. But the backlash, she was not prepared for it. She was in an arena that wasn't her area of expertise. So, yeah, I think people do admire Kneecap for pointing out the injustice of what's going on. And then, but other people think that they're supporting terrorism. I don't think they're doing that.
No, but you know, it's like a fine line,
right,
between, you know, like, because you don't want to support Hamas and terrorists,
yeah,
but you don't want to just kids being killed.
But I just think that the vast majority of the population, they can't really. They're sort of being. I think they just want to. The people want to live in peace. You know what I mean? And I think, like, if I was a Palestinian, I'd probably be all compliant. And if Hamas were running the fucking show, I'd just go, yeah, okay. You know, I mean, I wouldn't be brave enough to stand up against Hamas if I was Palestinian.
Probably not.
You know?
I don't know, but you know, they're ruthless.
Who are?
Hamas.
Right.
So, like, they wouldn't be just like, you know, listen to you. No,
yeah.
David, you know, maybe.
But the IDF are ruthless as well. So, yeah. What do you think, my son, of Kneecap?
No, I just think the Kneecap is okay, you know, because their songs are political, and let's say...
Sorry, I don't... Yeah.
If you're going to go to their concert, you know what to expect. The only thing I've got, let's say, I think that a lot of, let's say, Bruce Springsteen, he's got a concert, but before the concert, he's got like 15-minute speech.
Does he?
Apparently.
Yeah.
So I
about
think
what?
About, you know, maybe Palestine, political injustice.
And then you're saying, mate, I didn't come here to listen to a fucking political speech. Is that what you're saying? No, but which is fair enough. And that's
and
it's
what
okay.
I'm saying is that maybe, you know, there's a place for you when there's a protest. Go and join the protest.
Yeah, but
say what you want.
Okay, but so you're saying, you know, you go to a Bruce Springsteen concert, mate. I didn't come to a fucking political rally, and it's almost unfair of him to hijack his own fans to sort of preach his points of view. Like,
I just think
so
maybe
just sing
counterproductive.
Sing the fucking songs. So, well, that's interesting, because when I went over to Ukraine and was doing comedy gigs, and we did a gig in Kiev, and then a woman came up to me afterwards and said, "Why were you going on about the war all the time? I don't want to hear about the fucking war. Just do some funny jokes. You know what I mean? Like, we're trying to escape the horror of what's happening."
Yeah, so I sometimes think it's counterproductive. You know, and there should be maybe more also done how we can live together in peace.
But it's counterproductive. You mean, so Bruce Springsteen just wants to
people.
Well, maybe concerts and gigs are a form of escapism, like, you know, and then being reminded of bad things, you know.
Yeah, people want to be seen as credible and having a sort of social conscience, and so they want to look like they're...
But I think there's a lot of avenues for, you know, like
okay, Hannah, I'm Bruce Springsteen. Okay, hey Hannah, how you doing? I'm going to be doing a song in fucking. I'm going to be doing a gig in fucking Phoenix Park or wherever the fuck I'm playing, Croke Park. Yeah, what do you think of my act?
It's good.
No, go on about the 15 minutes.
Oh yeah. It's just like, can you skip, your political speeches and just go and play music?
Fuck you, man.
Okay.
Fuck you. Yeah, you weren't in. You weren't there, man.
There were.
Vietnam.
Did you go to Vietnam?
I don't know.
I don't remember.
Go on. Yeah, you didn't like the speech I did.
No, I think you're going on too long.
And I woke up in the
patronizing
morning
people.
and had a cup of tea and I held it to my lips, but the tea was too hot and my tongue was so burned, and then I ran it under a cold tap. Do you remember the cold tap and the hot tongue? Okay, so yeah, I know what you mean though. I agree with you, yes.
It's just, we don't need to
I got it.
turn everything into political rally.
You just could have said that 15 hours ago.
Okay, thank you.
I'm so sorry. Wait, I forgive myself. Yeah.
But going back to Glastonbury, I think it's quite an achievement. It started, I just re-educated myself, 1970, and it started with 1,500 people, where everybody was paying £1 pound for a ticket, and grew out after 54 years into 200,000 event.
Wow.
Which is run like,
clockwork.
Yeah, the amount of, the amount of, what you call it, event organizational skills it requires, security.
Nick Grimshaw does my fucking head. All right, Nick Grimshaw. I can't even do his fucking. It's just so. He annoys me.
But
Nick Grimshaw.
He's a BBC reporter or Channel 4, or who is he?
A BBC radio DJ, Nick Grimshaw with his hair. Oh yeah.
But David, he shouldn't put you off Glastonbury, which has 150,000.
Do you know what?
150 different bands performing, even more. I don't know. And one guy who is not even performing; he's just reporting, or is he DJing or what?
But it's funny. I was watching these clips of Graham Norton as well. I know Graham Norton's very good, but he sort of makes people really good because he talks like that, and he's all interested in you. And then, but because it's Robert De Niro talking, so Robert De Niro, you did something, didn't you? And then Robert said, "Yeah, well, I just fell over and I had a dog or something." That's amazing. But if it was just a normal person, it would just be a boring fucking story. But we're just so captured by celebrity. So my point is, actors, it's a trick of the light, folks. They're not that interesting. They just repeat their word rememberers, their line rememberers. Did they write the words that they say in the films? No, they didn't. They're just good at pretending to be other people. And they're not important. Really, they're not. In an emergency situation, nobody's ever said, where's Robert De Niro right now? We need a plumber, Plumber. Need a plumber? Yes, Hannah. So you're a plumber. It's amazing what you do. You're a plumber now. And can you, if somebody's toilet is blocked up, what do you do?
I don't think he talks like that.
How does he talk?
I don't know. But
Doesn't he talk a bit like that?
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, exaggerating. So, Diana, having that, you are a. Just tell us about. There's a very funny story. Okay,
I just remember now just one story about Glastonbury and Noel Gallagher protesting against Jay-Z headlining for the first time, because he's a first-time rapper.
Yeah.
So
or whatever. Yeah, I don't know.
2004, he was.
Oh, Jay-Z. Yeah.
Yeah, Jay-Z. So he was being a first rapper
right.
headlining
Yeah.
Glastonbury,
Right.
and Noel Gallagher. Who else? Noel Gallagher protested against
Right.
it. Said that that he doesn't play the guitar, and this is a rock and roll event.
Okay, go on.
And that's it. He was the one who was
But
protesting.
I like Noel Gallagher and Liam Gallagher. I think they're so funny. They're like stand-up comedians, the two of them.
Yeah.
And I enjoy them being interviewed as much as, probably more than their music. I think they're fascinating. The two of them.
But
And
that's why I said
they're
it,
very
because
self-aware.
That's only Noel Gallagher could say that sort of thing.
Oh, yes. Well, it's funny. I was listening to Noel Gallagher talking about his childhood, and apparently, so their mother is Peggy, and the father was very abusive and alcoholic, and it would beat the shit out of Noel, the elder one, on a regular basis, but never laid his hand on Liam. And then from literally one day to the next, there was an interview where Peggy Gallagher said, well, you know something, I just gave him a knife and a fork and a spoon, and I said, that's it now, that's it, that's more than you deserve. and fucked him out, or left him.
Finally.
But finally, and but strength, power, you know, she protected her boys. But I think the two of them are highly intelligent dudes. Actually, Liam, even the way Liam is, he just knows he knows who he is, and he sticks to the line. I don't know who he is. But I think I do. I don't know. I just like the way he talks. You know the way he talks. You see celebrities on the couch. Yeah, I don't know. No, he's talking about. We were just walking along Hampstead Heath, and we were hungry, and we threw some rocks at fucking Jamie Oliver's window and said, "Did you have some fucking ham sandwiches, mate?" I'm trying to do Liam Gallagher accent, but they're very, very funny dudes. Like, I'm surprised Noel or Liam, somebody hasn't invited them to do a sort of, not a TED talk, but an actual just, like a performance, or like a.
But they wouldn't want to do it.
Well, why wouldn't they? Maybe they fucking would, actually, Hannah. How would you know? How are you speaking on behalf of them? I'm just saying, if Noel Gallagher was doing an hour,
if they tried to act, it wouldn't be funny. They just like natural.
Oh, right, I see what you're saying. Yeah, But so I guess they have such extraordinary, inhuman amounts of confidence. You know the way they say we're the greatest fucking rock band. Blah 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 blah. But I think because the songs that they wrote were really quite. Songs that Noel Gallagher wrote were quite amazing. Go on, Daniel. How long have we been broadcasting?
An hour and 13.
Oh, good.
But Daniel, you like your music. So Oasis is not your favorite band?
No, it's not my favorite. No, but
who's your favorite? Scrangly Ping Bong and the Ding Dongs. Sorry, I have no idea. But no,
some real indie bands that no one's ever heard of.
What were you listening to can you remember when you were a teenager?
I don't know, like, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Green Day, like rock bands. Yeah.
You were such a beautiful, beautiful boy, Daniel.
He still is.
He's not a boy.
Beautiful man.
He was so good the way he looked after our son, Jack. I'm very happy that we're doing the podcast.
I'm falling asleep.
Yeah, we do have to figure out some way at some point to very simply monetize our little podcast here. But I guess I'll do it eventually. But I do appreciate people listening. And Fiona Shaughnessy told me that her cousin listens to the podcast.
Oh yeah.
And I can't remember her cousin's name. Actually.
And what? Do they like it, or they just?
What's that?
Yeah, well, I'll laugh.
I'm looking for Fiona. What's her cousin? Her cousin, Roisin. Roisin, yeah. Okay, so Fiona was at an event there, and she hadn't seen her cousin. Fiona's Roisin, and Roisin said to Fiona that I actually met her, Roisin, and I said to Roisin, "Oh yeah, I rode your cousin," referring to Fiona. This is what she comes up. One of the first things she said is that, David came up to me and says, "I rode your cousin."
I rode your cousin. It's just like from Northern Ireland.
I rode your cousin. I rode your cousin. But well, it's true. I did ride her cousin. And
But why would you be saying it as a hello thing?
it was great, though. I have to say, Fiona, she was a great fucking right now. What?
Are you going to cut it out?
Why?
I don't know.
What's wrong? Would you not like to be referred to as a great ride?
I don't know. Maybe, yeah. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Can you imagine if somebody,
losing moral ground.
Can you imagine if somebody came up?
I don't know.
Hello, are you Daniel's dad? Yes, I am. Your son is a great ride. How would you get away out of that?
Would you like that?
No. What would I like? What?
That sort of welcome.
Well, no. I'd be proud of my son. I would be going like, "Go on there, son. On there, Daniel. Where fucks do you buy? You little scallywag." Anyway, but apparently Roisin listens to the podcast and she's a fan of the podcast. So we should say hello to Roisin.
Hi. And I would like to also thank you for a few donations.
No, there's no donations. There's nowhere to give them.
Oh yeah, I got a few bobs on my PayPal account.
Oh, you have?
Yeah.
Few bobs.
Few bobs, yeah. A few cup of coffees.
Okay, dobre. Well, okay, we'll have to figure out a better way because I don't know about PayPal, but okay. Daniel, anything else?
All gravy.
Okay, folks, thank you very much. I'm sure we really do. I actually contacted a journalist called Nicola Tallant. Do you know her? She does a crime podcast.
Yeah, I've listened.
Do you know her?
No, I don't know her.
Yeah,
but
she's very good. But also we had a mutual friend in Colin Hayes, and I met her at Colin's funeral. But I didn't know I'd known her. But anyway, I have invited her onto the podcast. Is this uncool to say this, that I've invited her on if she doesn't show up? Anyway, if she doesn't show up, whatever, it doesn't matter. Maybe this isn't her kind of thing. But I would be fascinated to talk to her. So it would be good to have a guest. That's what I'm saying. Daniel, you have to get us guests. That you're the producer, Daniel.
Oh yeah, right. Okay.
I mean, I'm telling you guys, we wouldn't survive a fucking second in New York with this attitude. In New York, they are scrabbling around to make a fucking living, man. They're on it, man. They're just hustling like a doormat.
Yeah,
yes, sir, no problem. I'm gonna. We're just like kind of like just little hobbits, just river dancing around the place. Oh no, you wouldn't give us an old cup of coffee there, though. Oh Jesus Christ. How can you live with yourself, Anna?
I'm really embarrassed.
You're embarrassed about how rubbish we are. We are. But that's our USP, our unique selling point. The rubbish podcast. Just listen to us and fall asleep. We're going to do it anyway, right? Do you love doing the podcast, Daniel?
Yeah, it's great.
Daniel, come on, son. I love working with you. It's the best thing ever. Do you know I love working with you?
Yeah.
Can you feel it? What are you saying it like that for, Daniel? This is it, boy. This is our family.
It's a hostage situation.
Yeah, it's a hostage situation, but that's what you could say. That's what a family is kind of all about.
It is actually, because you have no choice.
Yeah. But you have no choice. But
no,
I'm
exaggerating, obviously.
But it's like you have no choice being who you are, so you better figure out how to be in a good relationship. And I mean, yeah, it's very sad if families. You know, I'm not close with my siblings.
Yeah, we talked about it. Yeah,
Are you close with your sibling? Yeah, you're close, but not close.
No, I'm not close. I talk sometimes, and whenever we meet, we have a good time.
You and Jack talk quite frequently, don't you?
Yeah, we do. Yeah,
they're close. Yeah. That's beautiful. Thank God. Okay, folks, wherever you are around the world, let us be your family. Tune in to us every week. I'm your daddy.
To a rubbish podcast.
And Hannah's your mom, and Daniel is your son.
Your cousin.
It's funny, people have daddy issues, but they don't have son issues, do they? Or daughter. I have daughter issues. I've said that before, I'm sure.
Yeah, you've said it before.
Because if you have daddy issues. Oh yeah, apparently Charlize Theron made a comment. Did you hear that about shagging a 26-year-old or something?
Oh yeah. Somebody was saying that. Yeah. And
but I don't know. You know, like, and people were saying. We're critical about the fact that the mainstream media was cheering her on and saying well done or something, you know, because But like, I think it's fucking great. Like, especially.
Yeah, I know, but do you really have to go and say, "Oh, I had sex with 26"?
I think it's hot. I mean, she's how old is Charlize Theron?
Oh, she looks amazing.
Like, if I was 26, fucking hell, it would have been the greatest gift in the world.
Yeah, Charlize Theron probably have like a queue, to her door, 26-year-old, because she's Charlize Theron.
Charlize Theron.
Don't you say Theron?
49 years of age. Ooh.
She's quite young.
Yeah, she's
not even 50.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, fair fucks. It's like whatever.
So like it's not such a big deal if she was 60 or 70, shagging 26.
It's funny. Like
that would be
we lived in what?
If she was 70 or 60, shagging 26-year-old, that would be an achievement. 49 is just like really young. It's like really young.
Well, if it's really young, why is she shagging a 26-year-old? But it's funny, we lived in Denmark for 6 years. It would be a non-story, wouldn't it? Nobody'd give a shit. We lived in such a cool country in so many ways. Denmark is so advanced. It was so liberal and relaxed. What a great, great place, man. I wish the rest of the world was like Denmark.
In some parts.
Yeah, but I think being boring, it's not a bad thing.
Yeah. It's good to be boring sometimes.
And you could say whatever the fuck you wanted to Danish people. And they have that kind of fantastic way of thinking, well, that's his thing. He's saying that. What's it got to do with me? Just let him off. And that's what, it's where we're in Ireland. You can't say that. How dare you? Like, we're in each other's heads. Get out of each other's heads. That's what maybe, that's what freaked me out slightly about Tommy Tiernan when he's looking at you. And do you like comedy? Do you like comedy? What? Yeah, I don't know. Fuck off. Stop trying to be interesting.
I just saw in my feed, there was this, I think it was Indian woman. She was a bit chubby, and she was giving an advice about relationship, and she said, I have a great relationship in my husband because we have no communication whatsoever.
Oh yeah.
Like, I don't want to know what's in his head, and he doesn't want to know what is my head.
Yeah, right.
And that's why we lasting for so long.
I agree with that. And I remember when I was going through the worst of it with My Beautiful Fiona coming out the Weird Science. That song came was the melody that just popped into my head. But anyway, a relationship therapist was talking about people in relationships, and people want to get close, but we've got all these issues on us. We're like porcupines, right? But if we get too close, we start stabbing each other with our issues. You know what I mean? So we need to get close, but not close where we're hurting each other. We don't want to be too codependent. We don't want to be too possessive. I mean, that's why I look at the cat and I seek that relationship with a woman where, when Ruby wanders in, I'm not thinking, where's Ruby been? Who's she been with? No, I'm just happy to see Ruby. There she is. And she bumps up against me. That's nice. And then she fucks off, does her own thing. And I'm not worrying, where's she going? Who's she going to talk to? So I'm in the present with Ruby, because that's all that exists, folks. Imagine there's no heaven. Come on. Yeah, anything else, Daniel? I keep on saying anything else. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. We will always be here. We are, you know what I mean? Thank you. Hannah, and yes, Bobby Lee, Andrew Santino, my God.
Yes, let's contact them.
Okay. Daniel, you are the future. Someday you're going to take over this farm, and you're going to run this farm. It's a 50-acre farm, and we've got 3 dairy cattle, and we've survived for this long. And we're going to open it up to the public, and we're going to run a little festival called the Funny Farm Festival. And Daniel is going to open up the festival. Hey, everyone, how you doing? And now, Coldplay. Yellow. Oh my God, Nick Crimshaw, it was absolutely amazing. I was at the Funny Farm Festival. Hey, Fanny Mac, what did you think of it? Oh, stop it. That's amazing. There's Florence and the Machine. Oh, hey, Flo, what you know? Are you going to be playing at the Funny Farm Festival? Hey, Daniel, how much are tickets? How much are tickets for the Funny Farm Festival? Daniel, go on.
What?
How much are the tickets?
Oh, 40 euro.
That's really reasonable, don't you think, Hannah Gnat? What are you doing here? You're a
very.
complete fucking nobody. Okay. Silly. Okay, folks. Next. Yeah, go on. We should, yeah, okay. Okay, the Funny Farm Festival. Oh, look, the two Johnnies. Fuck off. Okay, thanks very much, folks. See you next week.